Okay. Looks like everything's a go. And hopefully this week I will not have problems with my microphone like I did last week. Everything was so choppy when I went live, but welcome to Sunday Coffee Chat. I'm Darlene Taylor, the Recycled Mom. I am fresh off a lovely chat in our private Facebook group for the Recycled Mom. We talked about family dynamics, like a messy life, a crooked family tree, dysfunctional family, you know, whatever kind of thing you want to put on title that kind of family thing. But we are talking about, just the different kinds of families that are out there and how we deal with, with you and like your parents. So going that way up the family tree, not like you at home, with husband and kids and that kind of thing. But if you are someone that has grown kids that have flown the coop and are living their own lives, um, we would love to have you. I would love to have you in the chat today. Um, so where I'm starting is that with my family, with me growing up, my I this is how I like to say it. I am an only child with five siblings. So I have come from a family where my dad has been married and divorced three times. Married before my mom and had four kids. And then, of course, my mom and dad, and it's just me. I'm an only child. And then my dad married after my mom, um, and had a child there. So then there's about 12 years between me and my youngest sibling. Now, we were talking in group today about, how do you refer to them? Everybody is all, my dad's been married and divorced three times. So, everything that we all have in common is my dad, right? Um, so we're all half siblings technically. But do you, if that is a family like you, do you just call each other family? Just call each other siblings? That's what kind of relationship do you have? I think it kind of is boiled down to that, where what are we calling ourselves? Especially, okay, so for me, I don't really have a relationship with them. Um, I would see them when I was growing up and like through early teens, through high school. I saw my half siblings, only like on Christmas Eve or when I would spend time with my dad during the summer, and we might go out to my grandma's lake house, and we would have some time out there. Maybe we were all together, um, but not very often did I see them and relate with them, other than if it was with my dad and it was for a visit. So when we don't have that kind of a relationship with them, what can be expected? That's kind of what we were all talking about. Just from what I'm experiencing right now, my oldest sibling, my oldest sister's sons, her youngest son got married yesterday, and I knew that the two of them had gotten engaged because I had seen it on Facebook. I didn't know when the wedding date was. I didn't know they were getting married, yesterday. I found out a couple weeks ago from my sister when she had texted me that our dad had gone into the hospital. He was having a reaction to some medication that he was taking for a procedure that he was going to have the following week. And he was having such a severe reaction that landed him in the emergency room, bleeding just everywhere. And anyway, out of that text, she was talking to me, like I didn't know who she was. um, and she said, my son is getting married next week. I can't really get up there because there is so much going on here. I'm not going to go unless there was an emergency, as in like if things took a turn for the worse. Um, but she did forward a number to me and say that there was, it was a number to a nurse's station. And if you wanted some information, you could call this number and the nurses will give it to you. And here's his passcode. Now, my dad and I are estranged. So, we do not and have not talked in a long time. And the last time we talked was when he had had a stroke, and that was about 3 years ago. And he was in the hospital, and I had gone to visit him, and thought that maybe the air had cleared a little bit there. Still don't really understand my relationship with my dad, but it's not one where we have ever really been close. I don't really confide in him, and everything. My relationship with my dad has always been about performance. It's been about, I'm not being a good enough daughter, because I mean, I don't call enough, and I wasn't involved with my younger sibling when she was growing up. I don't know. I was always trying to figure out what my place was with my dad and with my half siblings, and I really did want to have a relationship with them. But when you go and you have this relationship with them, and nothing is really coming back, I just kind of just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stop trying so hard, and falling all over myself trying to be a part of this family when I guess I'm not. The older four had themselves, and they had, their mom, and their mom had remarried, and they had that life. And then my mom and it was just my mom and I growing up, and so we had our life. And I was involved in things, and I had a life that I will share in another video someday. Oh, hey, Rachel. So I don't understand, the family dynamic. Where do you, how far do you, or I don't know how to say, how long do you keep trying, to have a relationship with, siblings, your half siblings, step siblings, when you don't really, you're all grown, or you're going your separate ways, and it's not coming back this way. It's not, do I keep trying and just let it go? I mean, for me, I let it go. And they were living their own lives, and I would get a yearly Christmas card. I had my second sister, number 2 in the lineup, she would send some pictures of the kids as they were growing up. She was the one I heard from the most, actually. When my youngest sibling she's now grown, married, and has her own children. I did have some connections with her, and we would talk on Facebook. What else did we didn't have anything. Now we've got Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but mainly then for several years it was Facebook. But then she totally got off Facebook. She said she had it with people because she just didn't want to deal with life as far as anything that any of us had to say. So it's like I watched her just pull right off of Facebook and just make herself like, I'm gone. I don't want to deal with any of you. And I think it was because, which I thought it might have been something that I said. She never told me. And so there were several years where I didn't find her until recently. I found her on Instagram, and she has a blog, and I've been trying to talk with her there as far as just making comments or commenting on her blog, and that's gone nowhere. So how far do I just quietly just love her from afar and comment here and there, and she may never comment back? Okay, I guess. I just It's when this morning I saw pictures from my sister's youngest son who got married. I saw pictures are starting to get posted on Facebook, and everybody that I'm seeing in the pictures, everybody is there except me. And I guess it's like look, I know that I don't have a relationship with her sons. I mean, I'm practically a stranger, though we have chatted on Facebook a few times and stuff, but it's chit chat at the most. And I don't, so they really don't know me and don't really have a close relationship at all with my oldest sister. So so I didn't expect to get invited to the wedding. That's not what this was about. What it was about was that I was seeing everybody in pictures. I was seeing all of my family except me. All of my siblings and their kids, and now my sisters, like grandkids. My one sister has a couple grandkids and stuff. So it's like I'm seeing family, like it looks like a family reunion, and I'm not there. And so it's hurtful, and it's so I don't know I don't know how I feel about that, other than, I kept telling myself, look, it's no big deal, I shouldn't expect to be included anyway, but it does hurt, because when you're not being considered by your earthly family, it does hurt. And so I'm looking, and I'm just like, you know what, it does hurt. I'm going to stop telling myself that it doesn't matter, that, whatever you, it's just like there's all my family, and they're talking about how much they love each other, and how much my one sister was like, yes, she's taking pictures with her other sisters, and she's like, I love my sisters, and I love my siblings, or I miss my family. And I'm like, well, hello, I'm trying to talk to you on social media. Do you really miss me or not? So whatever, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I hate that phrase, but it is what it is. So what do you do? um it's like, I'm just not going to try anymore. So what do you do if you have a messy family? How do you handle it? Do you I would love to hear from you, and other people that have had um dysfunctional families, or how you're growing up. Do you have siblings? Do you have, are you connected somehow? Are you not connected? Did you just kind of give up trying to have any kind of a relationship, because it's just like, if they're not interested, then okay, I tried. um how about calling your parents? Here's the other thing, is that I've got okay, so my parents are divorced, and but my dad, for one, is not one to, he expects me to call him, and if I don't, I hear about it, or at least I don't anymore, because we haven't talked in a really long time. If I don't call, then I don't get a call, is how that works. Yeah, ignore them and focus on your own life. Well, that's what I have been doing. Um, hey, the night owl, how you doing? Um, I have been, I have ignored them and focused on my own life. And then, so a few years ago, um, my dad had a stroke, and my oldest sister, texted me about it. And um, number 4 in the lineup, my brother, happened to call me, which I had not heard from him in like over a decade. I mean, nothing, no email or any attempted phone call, or nothing on social media or anything like that. And he called my business line, um, and just let me have it and told me that, well, our dad's in the hospital and we can't get a hold of you, which I've got numbers everywhere. If my sister was able to get a hold of me, he should have been able to get a hold of me as well. But just let me have it. You didn't, our dad's in the hospital. It's time that you be a part of this family and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, where have you been for the last decade or more? Oh, wait, well, I do know where you've been, but anyway. So you're going to sit here and berate me now because, all I've ever wanted to do was try to be in the family, and you haven't even bothered to call me, but the day that you do call me, you let me have it. So, I'm happy that you're starting to feel me like that. So forget it. Um, you know, oh, come on. Can you hear me? Anybody? I am? How am I back? I don't have anything on the camera. It's telling me to switch on my Mevo. You can see and hear me? Okay, y'all, look, there's nothing on my phone. Let me see, can you see this? It says connect. It's telling me to turn on my Mevo camera, and I have nothing on my phone to guide me, so this is driving me nuts. Every Sunday I get on here and there is a technical issue, but if you can still, okay, it's still streaming, so I'm just gonna look directly here at this. All right, so thanks, JT. Okay, so it's still streaming. So, all right, y'all. Okay, breathe. All right. Okay, who is this here? Okay, yeah, same here. My brother has 2 children and I haven't even met them. Oh. Oh, that's sad. My dad hasn't even... Okay, so he's only met my oldest, Elizabeth. My son, I think he saw when he was a baby, when my son was a baby, because I remember pushing him in the stroller, and I was pregnant with my third. It was the last time I saw my dad, and that's the last time he saw my kids. So my oldest daughter has a vague memory of, Grandpa coming, and he brought Halloween cookies and, spent time with us. So he's been to visit a couple times, and so she remembers him from that. But as far as my youngest, she has no idea. My son, he has really no idea. He has, he's seen pictures. And then, yeah, so that's about it. And I have godchildren, and there was a period of time where things were silent, because our family was moving around and doing stuff, and then their family was too, and there was a period of time where we just kind of lost each other. And when we reconnected, they were grown, and I remember how that just kind of hurt in here because we missed all of that. And now, oh my goodness, oldest is she's got kids, and the other two were out of high school, and it was like, oh my word, they're grown up. We missed all this, and I just remember feeling the heartache. And that was just from godchildren. I can't imagine not seeing my grandkids. The night owl. People keep asking me to talk about being a single mom. I'm nervous about it. Oh, you know what? Don't be. Well, okay, I'm not going to say don't be, okay? Let's work through that nervousness because I think you should. And I also think that you should come over to Facebook and be a part of our Facebook private group for Recycled Moms. I'll put the link down in the description box, but if you go to Facebook and you search for The Recycled Mom, and then you see my logo, I've got a Facebook page with my actual headshot on it, but I also have a private group, and it has the Recycled Mom logo, the coffee stain logo, and you can request to join that group, and I'll add you because we have a really good group. We've got about 47 people in that group now, and it's a private group, so we can talk openly and share things without such a public atmosphere as YouTube, and that might actually help you get warmed up to talk a little bit more about your life as a single mom and things that you experience. Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, double check that. Make sure that I got you in there because the night owl, I don't remember what your real name is. We see each other's channel names all the time, so I never know who's who. But I am a child of a single mom. My parents divorced when I was 7, but they were split up before that, and it's been my mom and I growing up, and I think we both grew up during those years. She did not get married until after I married my husband. So that's funny because I'm married longer than my mom is. But my mom made a lot of sacrifices, for both of us. We had a very hard life, and I'm probably going to be doing a video on that soon, posting a video on the story of my life because I think it's time. I think it's time for me to talk about it. Rachel says, I'm not a single mom, but I do have friends who are and would love to hear about other ladies' journeys. Absolutely. That's why I did. So I started The Recycled Mom, was so that we could share our journeys. When we share, we not only connect with other people in a different way and on a deeper level, but we also grow because when we're sharing our experiences, we find out that there's someone else that has gone through it or is going through it, and it helps us to know that we're not alone, that we're not crazy in our thinking. Even just today, okay, so the night owl, I did get your email up here, but I'm just gonna not show it publicly. But I will respond. Yeah, Rachel, get your tissues for that one. So when I do post that video, I'll, it's going to take some time for getting out exactly what I want to say. And I've often just thought of just turning on the camera and just letting it go. And just let what happens, and let it go without editing. But I do say and a lot, so I might want to edit just a little bit. But the night owl, if you ever have any questions, concerns, worries about being a single mom and about your children, I can give you point of view from a children's point of view, from like, this is what my mom did with me. I can help you on that side, as far as I don't know what it's like being a single mom. I do stay at home with my children though. And so there are a lot of days I do feel like a single mom that, my husband's gone a good deal of the day because he has a long commute and he has long days. And so I am, I do feel alone sometimes. and when we have teenagers right now, we're involved in Boy Scouts and American Heritage Girls, and I've got one girl that goes to dance class. We are involved in our church, so we have Bible study, and so a lot of times we are coming and going a lot, and it does seem like, that I'm on my own a lot. I'm not, but there are some things I can relate to you on, but I can always give you the point of view from the child side on this side. And Rachel, you're learning everything you can about the step parenting thing you're about to embark on, and today's chat on Facebook helped. I am so glad about that, because that's one of the reasons why I started this whole thing, was to give us a place to share openly without that fear of judgment or criticism, or what are people going to say. I mean, it's a group of like-minded women. So yeah, so the whole relationship, with my dad is just really, it's weird. And I wanted it to be better. And there was a point in time, several years ago, that I did tell him, look, I know the Lord is showing me a lot about myself and about my relationship with him, and I wanted it to go this way. And I wanted to be able to work on that with him. And so I put that invitation out there, but I guess maybe it didn't, I don't know. I think my dad is going through a lot on his own. He's been married and divorced 3 times, and now he's living alone. He's living alone in a cabin. He's retired. He doesn't have anybody around him. All of his family is everywhere. We're scattered in amongst, 3 different states. And now with his health, it's hard for him to go anywhere to visit his family. And his kids and all of us we're in the throes of life, where my oldest sister she's an empty nester. And I think my number 2 in line, she has one staying at home because that one child has special needs, but I believe all the others are out. So she's an empty nester sort of as well. Number 3 in line, he has a couple boys, and they're in college. So you can see where we are. On the next one, I've got children that are getting ready to enter college, and then my youngest sister still has elementary school aged kids. So, okay, Night Owl, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later. You can always catch the replay if you want to catch more, and I will definitely email you, okay? And Rachel, now, here's the thing, Rachel. Growing up, my dad has always said that he was saved. But I, of course, being young, I never asked any qualifying questions like, well, tell me, how did you get saved? That's what I would ask him now. Now, I do remember him a long time ago. I have this memory that just stuck here, the saying, I have the, how do you say it? He said I had the confidence of knowing that all of his kids were saved. Like, that was his accomplishment. But I don't know, because I've got one brother who says that he's agnostic. I have another brother who did share his salvation story with me. So, and then I have a sister who I know is saved, and then my oldest, I'm not, just kidding. My other sister said that I think she's more on the agnostic side. I'm not exactly sure what she believes. She may believe that there's a higher power, but I'm not exactly sure where she goes beyond that. So, one thing that I've always learned, I know that my dad believes in the Lord. There was the longest time, like when I grew up, some of my happiest memories, my earliest childhood memory was us, my dad and my mom and me, and we walked to church. So I guess we lived close enough to church. I was young, so my mom and dad's divorce was official when I was 7. but there was that split up before then. So when I was 5, maybe, because there was the time where they left, where my mom left, then they bought a house and we were back together for a while, and then we left again. So at some point when I was young, so I'd have to say 4 or 5, we were walking to church. And I remember walking, between the two of them, I was holding hands. I had on I had a poncho that was hand crocheted or whatever. And I had on my church dress, and we would go to church. And I remember, that was our Sunday. And when I'd come home and we would have dinner in the crock pot and stuff, So I know that my dad was a God-fearing man. That's my memory of him. But to actually ask him, I need to ask him if he has been saved, and share that with me, because I don't know. Yeah, I never heard you mention if he was or not, but yeah, so I've always gone on what he's told me, but I never asked any qualifying questions like I would now. If someone were to say, that they were saved or talked of salvation, and I would be like, oh, that's wonderful. Tell me, how did it happen? When did it happen? Tell me your experience, and have them share that with me, so that I just had a really good feeling one day. Might want to talk a little bit more about that. So, yeah, but when my dad did visit when we were at Emmanuel, and it was a long time ago, and I'm not exactly sure if you were going to that church or not, Rachel, at the time, but my dad and my uncle were visiting. I don't remember if there was a revival or not going on, but they were visiting, and it would have been very young, or very long, when Elizabeth was young, is what I want to say. So I'm not sure. Not exactly sure. So that's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, our family tree is crooked, and that's okay. Because I don't hold that against anybody, because life happens, and your life is not mine. So I've always have been one to family is important, and I have tried. I have wanted to get it out there that or I've wanted to get my family together, but something I did want to share. I shared this in group, but I want to share it here on YouTube with the YouTube audience. What I heard this morning from my pastor in church, and I'm going to put it here, and I'll probably put it down in my comments too, because I think it's very appropriate for those of us that have messy lives, messy families, and I'm talking about the messy families that we have come from, that we are products of. And the quote is this: "You can't control the circumstances of others that have created your messy life, but you can control your future responses." Okay, I'll say it again. You can't control the circumstances of others that have created your messy life, but you can control your future responses. So if you've come from a dysfunctional, messy, crazy, wacky family, you can control what happens in your future family, your family today. You have control of that. You can stop the crazy cycle right here and make a change and say, I am not going to do that. I'm going to be like this, and leave that kind of a legacy from this point forward. That was very encouraging. It was very timely for me today, just kind of being upset over, just seeing that I wasn't, how do I put this? It was just another reminder of how I'm not a part of that family. I'm kind of outside, just how much I haven't and wasn't a part of it. So I guess it's just, I just wanted to kind of leave that there out on the table for you as encouragement. And I hope that does encourage you that, look, you can stop the crazy cycle. Okay. And I know this was kind of a little blabby today. It's not too inspirational and positive as I would normally like to be on a Sunday. But you know what? That's, life is life. And it can be messy. There are days that we just have things that get to us, and we need to deal with them. So I thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, those that have participated in the chat. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of the love and support that I get from you all. So I hope you all have a great week. I will be here next Sunday, and I try to be here every Sunday for Coffee Chat Live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want a reminder, just click the little bell next to the subscribe button, and you'll get a notice every time I go live, every time I upload a new video. Subscribe and click that bell, and you'll know when I go live. So, and also I will put a link down in the description box as well for the Recycled Mom Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group for moms of all kinds and from anywhere that can be a part of the group, and it just gives us a place to connect, to to unwind, get support and encouragement from each other, because we are better together. So y'all have a great Sunday, have a great week, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. I don't know how to stop this.